my temperature went extremely high that the doctor was saying they don't know what's happening, that it seems it's a different variant of malaria parasite that's in my blood. So I was shivering, I was hot. They were still figuring out what to do with me. Guess what happened? The next day, my brother came in, and I was telling him that, look, they need to move me back home. I don't want to stay here. I noticed he had an envelope in his hand. He just gave me the envelope, and I opened it, and I saw that, congratulations, that was my letter of acceptance to do NYC. Lo and behold, the malaria disappeared. How come it's Yoruba people that are being employed? I know the Yorubas are too much. Which for me didn't make sense because, Schlumberger, Schlumberger is an international oil company, and there is cultural diversity, and as well, it was NYC that posted us here. So it's no fault of ours that we're all working here. So, for whatever reason, I was singled out. I went on a holiday. By the time I came back, they had replaced me. The personnel manager of Schlumberger UK wrote a very strong letter to Schlumberger Nigeria that you guys are a bunch of jokers. Why did you remove Shola Aje's name? Bring it back with immediate effect. And guess what? They gave me a letter of employment, and I was hired by Schlumberger UK. When I went to the embassy, the lady looked at me. He asked me whether I've been to the UK before. I said no. He said, how can you come here with a letter of employment
from the UK?
And guess what? On the letter of employment, they had even written how much they were going to pay me. So the lady got angry. I went to the UK embassy 3 times. Even they intervened from the Schlumberger office in the UK. They refused. In fact, the last time I went there, the lady was singing a song to me, saying, "You won't get a visa. You won't get a visa."
That means she took it very personal.
She took it personal. Or the bus driver that took me asked me, "Mister, where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Nigeria." "Ah, they're cool. ITC, no good for Nigeria. All Nigeria, we sack them. You, they sack." Shola did this. I did the same thing Shola did. If you have to sack Shola, you need to sack me too. So the guy said, "No, you're not going." I said, "No, you need to sack me." That's how they sacked him as well. So the driver who had picked me up from the airport was the same guy who was taking me back to the airport. To the house. And he said, "I tell you, mister, see, you, number 5, we sack you." I called my mom, thank God for mothers. My mom said, she cried. She said, "We don't even know where Indonesia is." But he said, "Don't worry." And she said this, "I will report them to Jesus."
Welcome to Powercast. This is the place where we dive into life issues, navigating the intricate relationship between people, politics, and policies. My name is Solomon with an X, and you see, I come with a bit of juice every now and then. So today, we're going to be talking about something very interesting, something that navigates everybody, because if you're alive, it means that you are either in one side of the divide. So today, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship or employee, which part to choose. And the person I have as my guest today has very interesting experiences across both divides. The truth is, you are going to be thrilled by his stories in both divides. So we are going to let him introduce himself, and then we'll now dive into the stories. Uncle Shola, can you introduce yourself? And then you would tell us first is a bit of your background in employee, and after that, we'll now go to a bit of your background as an entrepreneur. And your stories as an employee is, let it cut across how you have traveled and traversed across the world, what you did. I love that your experience where you were almost killed by Taliban or militants. Just tell us, let us feel the energy. Let people know that, you really have passed through this part. And then we'll go to your entrepreneurial journey, and you also do a bit of storytelling before we now get into the nitty-gritty of other parts. Welcome to
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Solomon and the rest of the team. I'm happy to be here today. My name is Shola Aje, and I am currently I'm the founder and chief product architect at Ideas Infusion Limited. Our focus is on new product development and also the chief horticulturist in African gardening. In African gardening, we breed, develop, and propagate fruit trees.
All right, let me cut in there. So if you guys don't know, pomegranate does not grow around Port Harcourt, but Uncle Shola has the technique. It's in his farm that I have seen him grow pomegranate from nothing, and he harvests in large quantities and sell. So it goes to show someone who is not just creative, someone who is innovative, and someone who has changed the narrative about agriculture in the whole Nigeria and this part of Nigeria, essentially. All right, so Shola, I would want to ask you to tell us your employee story. When did you get your? And I know you worked in Schlumberger for over 20 something years. So
about 14 years.
About 14 years, okay. So tell us how you got into Schlumberger, how you rose to a manager, how you worked in various countries of the world, how you were almost assassinated or killed by Taliban, and how I love listening to that story, how you were driving through the desert alone in the dead of the night. So just tell us the story. So people know that you were really a company man before you now became an entrepreneur.
All right. I joined Schlumberger, should I say, by a stroke of luck, because what had happened was that I was supposed to be posted to Lagos, and if I was posted to Lagos, then after the camp, I said I wanted to come to Port Harcourt. So I came to Port Harcourt, and when I was going to Port Harcourt, my late brother had told me and said, Shola, I met this guy in town. He's a manager in Ajib. Just take his business card. So I came to Port Harcourt with this business card. And so I went to meet the man in Ajib. I got there and he told me, he said, okay, your brother is a very nice person. Oh, we just met at this hotel in Kwara State in Lorry. Oh, that's good. But he asked me a question. He said, okay, you want to do your NYC there. But he said he had a problem that every person he has sent to Schlumberger, they ran away. So I told him, I will not run, that he can count on me. He said, are you sure? Then.
But did he tell you why they ran away?
Yeah, well, he said because of the kind of work youth corps go through there, that the guys couldn't withstand the pressure.
But Schlumberger has always paid well. So why would they run from money?
Well, I think even though Schlumberger was the only company paying corpers, I mean, no company paid as much as Schlumberger, including SPDC then. Schlumberger was paying a whole lot of money then. And the package, even for youth corpers, was very good. But I guess the people, I mean, when I entered, I knew why the people left, because, I mean, they use you, basically. But for me, I didn't take it that they were using me. I was gaining experience. So what now happened what happened is even quite interesting, because he put a call to the field services manager, who was his friend, and the guy said, okay, I should come to the office. So when I got to the office, I don't know, a whole lot of people won't know this, but let me say this. In Port Harcourt then, in the early 90s, the gatemen in oil service companies, I mean, they were the gatekeepers. I mean, they were not gatemen keeping cars away. They were gatekeepers. If you are not friendly with the gate man, you will not have access to the company.
But it has not changed.
Well, then it was really, really
more powerful.
So when I got there, gave them the card, and I was asked to speak on the intercom to a lady. This lady was the secretary of the FSM. She now asked me, okay, what are you here for? I said, I came to see the FSM. I mentioned the FSM's name. FSM stands for Field Services Manager, and I'm coming for NYSC. Guess what this lady says? She says, no vacancy.
Without even allowing you to speak to FSM.
So I was deflated. I remember, because of the way I felt, I mean, there was hold up on the way. I walked almost a kilometer down to a place, down to Garrison from that place, from
Transamadi.
From Transamadi, and I took a bus. So I was staying in the naval barracks in Ajip. And anybody that knows that road then in the 90s, that Ajip road was always flooded. So they dropped me on Equere Road and I was walking down. So as I was walking down the road, it was in the evening, I saw a young lady who was wearing Schlumberger coverall. So immediately I went to meet her. I said, "Are you so and so?" I called the name of the secretary. I said, "Maybe this is that secretary
that told
prevented me from
no
seeing the guy."
vacant.
So she said, "No, that she's just this, that she knows the secretary, that she's like that." So I now said, So I didn't say anything. So in my mind, when I got home, I hatched another plan. I said, okay, because I went there to say that I was looking for the FSM. When I get to the gate, I will not say I'm looking for the FSM. I will say I will call the name of the Ajip man, that the Ajip man is at the gate looking for the man. And they put up the telephone again and they said, "Who are you?" And I mentioned, "Oh, I am this." Oh, come in, sir, come in, sir. So it was when I got in, the lady said, "But this is not the Ajip manager. Who are you?" And I said, "I am so and so." "Oh, you are the one that called me yesterday. No vacancy." So while we were talking, the FSM head
walked in.
And he said, "Oh, I've been looking for you. Come in here."
Oh.
And
so you literally got your destiny in your hand.
Yes.
You fought for it.
And that was how I came in, and the man gave me, he said, "Okay, you come for the interview." So I came for the interview about a few days afterwards. A whole lot of people there. And I now took ill. And I have never, ever since I was born, I've never been in the hospital on admission. So when I came in, I was admitted, I was on drip, and I told myself, I said, okay, maybe Port Harcourt is not for me. I'm tired, I just want to go home to my parents. I said, okay, this like, what even got to me was that, as a young boy, I was 22 then. When you are sick, no, I was 21. When you're not feeling fine at home, they come and pet you and all that. So nobody was petting me.
Because you were alone in Port Harcourt.
The nurses were not friendly. And no, even though my brother was there, but he was busy on the rig. So guess what happened?
Your brother used to work in...
No, my brother, he still works. He's in Halliburton.
Oh,
but he was in Western Atlas then. Okay. So what now happened was interesting. So my temperature went extremely high, that the doctor was saying they don't know what's happening, that it seems it's a different variant of malaria parasite that's in my blood, this. So I was shivering, I was hot. They were still figuring out what to do with me. Guess what happened? The next day, my brother came in, and I was telling him that, look, they need to move me back home. I don't want to stay here. I noticed he had an envelope in his hand. He just gave me the envelope, and I opened it, and I saw that, congratulations, that was my letter of acceptance to do NYC. Lo and behold, the malaria disappeared. I discharged myself that same night. And I told my brother that, look, I need to go back home to tell them that, look, that everything went fine, because they gave us about 2 weeks to sort ourselves out. So I discharged myself. And I went back home, and I came back. And that was how my journey started with Schlumberger. And
so you got into Schlumberger at what age? 21 or
21.
22?
I was 21.
Okay, you were 21 when they got the NYSC.
Yes.
Okay.
So of course, some other interesting thing happened then, because after we spent the NYSC, I think some people in the organization, let me say this. They said, "Oh," I heard them say it, and other people said it. They say, "How come it's Yoruba people that are being employed?" No, the Yorubas are too much. Which for me didn't make sense, because Schlumberger, Schlumberger is an international oil company, and there's cultural diversity, and as well, it was NYC that posted us here. So it's no fault of ours that we're all working here. So for whatever reason, I was singled out.
Oh.
I went on a holiday. By the time I came back, they had replaced me with someone. So when they replaced me, and we had actually done the test for full employment, which I passed.
While you were doing your NYSC?
And that was towards the end. We did projects, the recruiters came, and one of the recruiters, who is a very, very successful, I won't mention his name, but one of the most successful oil and gas, he owns one of the oil and gas companies in Nigeria today. Oh. He told me, and he said, "Shola, I know what this guy did, but don't worry, come. So I went to Lagos, and he was trying to get me into a sister company of Schlumberger, which was Dowell Schlumberger.
Okay, Dowell.
But I told him, look, I want wireline. But he told me that, Shola, it's the same thing. Just enter first. Just enter. We went to meet the manager who was in charge of Dowell. And the guy looked at me. He said, this guy, he loves wireline. We won't do this Dowell job. So the next day.
Okay, Dowell does mud.
Yes, so it does mud and cementing. Basically cementing.
Okay.
So the next
Schlumberger does wireline.
Wireline, formation evaluation. So the next day, I was at the guest house. In fact, something happened in the guest house. The personnel manager, when he heard that they had removed my name, he said they should kick me out of the guest house. So I was going to the office to give a piece of my mind to the personnel manager that why would they treat me that way? That look, back home, I mean, I live in a 6-bedroom duplex. I'm the only one at home. So why you think I don't have a place better than this place? So I was going there only for me to meet that recruiter. Then he said, Shola, come. This was about a day after my birthday. He said, Shola, come. See this letter. I couldn't understand the letter. I gave it back to the man. Sir, I don't understand. It's okay. Let me read it to you. Guess what happened? The guy that replaced me, they sent him for a mini evaluation course. And the people in the UK, they got angry. Schlumberger in the UK, they got angry.
And this was not the original name.
No, that this guy messed up. We don't know this guy because the guy did not work with us as the youth corps. He just came in, just like that.
Oh.
So we had the experience, on the job experience. We followed them to the rigs and all that. So what now happened was the guy got fired. And they wrote a letter.
Oh, he was fired even before he started.
He was fired at the mini evaluation course. And the personnel manager of Schlumberger UK wrote a very strong letter to Schlumberger Nigeria that you guys are a bunch of jokers. Why did you remove Shola Aje's name? Bring it back with immediate effect. And guess what? They now even said, because I was supposed to be under what they call AFM then, African Mediterranean. They said, no, we will hire Shola Aje. They gave me a letter of employment and I was hired by Schlumberger UK. And guess what? This now gave me problems when I was trying to get a visa because I'd never left Nigeria then. And when I went to the embassy, the lady looked at me. He asked me whether I'd been to the UK before. I said, no. He said, how can you come here with a letter of employment
from the UK?
And guess what? On the letter of employment, they had even written how much they were going to pay me. So the lady got angry. And I went to the UK embassy 3 times. Even they intervened from the Schlumberger office in the UK. They refused. Why? I don't know. They just refused. In fact, the last time I went there, the lady was singing a song to me, saying, you won't get a visa, you won't get a visa.
I mean, she took it very personal.
She took it personal. She literally took it personal. So as a young man, but one thing I found, I don't know, I was not traumatized. I guess I just took it and, In fact, when I got back, I was joking with the manager in Lagos saying that, look, maybe it was because of the way I dressed, that next time I should dress like a poor farmer. That maybe they will have pity on me, that they probably just felt bad. So what now happened?
You're a rich kid.
So what now happened was that Schlumberger now said, okay, if they're going to give me if they're not giving me a visa. So I was supposed to go to the training school in Indonesia. So what they now did was that, okay, Shola, because the tradition in Schlumberger, when they hire you, you will go and sign your letter of employment in the headquarters of the region that hired you. So I couldn't do that. It was like what we call like a ritual. So I couldn't do that ritual in quote there. I now had to do it in Indonesia.
Well, is Indonesia under the region?
No. But the training school, so UK can hire you and they send you to another region. So I now went to Indonesia. But guess what? I got to Indonesia and the cab driver or the bus driver that took me asked me, Mister, where are you from? I said, I'm from Nigeria. This school, ITC. So ITC stands for Indonesia Training Center. ITC, no good for Nigeria. All Nigeria, we sack them. You, they sack. So the man told me that and I said, what is this again? And by the time I got there, I knew why he said that. There was a training instructor who had worked in Nigeria, and I think he had a problem with the locals. Oh. So he kept taking it on Nigerians and sacking them.
So he took it very personal.
So the guy will come to class, insult me, I will ask questions, he will insult me, but like I said...
And he was an Indonesian national.
I was an Indonesian guy. And I said, when I came in there, I told myself, I was determined to be a Schlumberger engineer, and I said nothing will stop me. So we did the first intensive, did the second intensive. By the third intensive, something happened. Another instructor had told us that we could edit the results of our calibration. So when you calibrate the equipment, what was happening was that when you're doing intensive, you do a background check of the radioactive equipment. But while you're doing background, that means the radioactive sources are inside the ground. But what happens there is that while you're doing your background check, some other fellow could be loading the radioactive source, which will affect your measurement. So the instructor told us that, look, you guys can edit. We didn't know anything about editing. You can edit the figures and that's fine. So they now transferred him. So during my intensive, I had that problem. I edited. Immediately, some other people edited. Immediately, this guy saw
you.
He said, "Ha!
Nigeria."
And guess what? They fired me.
Oh.
I was sacked from the school. In fact, before that happened, when I got to Indonesia, they had, I guess it was that instructor, he had planned with a medical doctor there, because they took blood samples from me, that I had hepatitis. And they actually isolated me from the class for a day, which I think was racist, because by the time they told Paris, the headquarters in Paris, they were angry, they were mad, because the chief
was in America.
No, they were in Paris.
Oh, okay.
So the chief medical, I can't remember his name, but he was in charge of all medical issues in Schlumberger. He was number one. He was in the headquarters in Paris. When he heard, he was angry. I said, this hepatitis, you can only get it through sex. Why do you need to treat him like that and keep him in a room alone and all that? He said, that is not good. He was very, very angry. So they brought me back, but guess what? They still said something very derogatory. They said, okay, Shola is back, but Shola will not have sex with our women. And in my mind, I laughed. Oh, do you think I traveled over 6 time zones to get there for sex? I said, you guys are jokers. So that had happened before, and I was in school. But when this one happened with the calibration, they sacked me. And it was funny when they sacked me, and the man was asking me, what am I going to do and all that. So the day they sacked me, the vice president of Schlumberger Middle East, the region, Southeast Asia, came. And I went to meet him. I said, this is racism. Look at what happened. And the guy said, no, if he's a French person, we will sack him as well. So the recruiter in Paris told me to take a flight down to Paris. Normally, Schlumberger is interesting. You do, even if they sack you, you still do an exit interview.
Oh.
So something happened. When the manager gave me the letter, then there was an emergency meeting telling the other people that they had sacked me. There was an Italian guy. And this guy, what did he do? He said something. He got up when he heard that I was sacked. He said, because I told them, I said, I was not the only one that did this, but the man wouldn't want to hear. That was the training school manager. So the Italian said, in the Italian accent, he said, no, I do not understand what you are saying. Shola did this. I did the same thing Shola did. If you have to sack Shola, you need to sack me too. So the guy said, no, you're not going. He said, okay, no, you need to sack me. That's how they sacked him as well. And the guy said, okay, I'm fine. I go to Bali and enjoy my life. So we're now 2. So the driver who had picked me up from the airport was the same guy who was taking me back
to the airport.
To the house. And he said, I tell you, mister, see, you, number 5, we sack you. But then, I told myself, I said, no. I called my mom, thank God for mothers. My mom said, she cried. She said, we don't even know where Indonesia is. But she said, don't worry. And she said this, I will report them to Jesus. That's what she told me. And so I had called, and they had sent me my ticket, and I was waiting.
Your ticket to go to France?
To go to France. The phone just rang. I picked the phone. Who was there? It was a training school manager. He said, Shola, where are you?
The same one that said you were sacked.
Yes, I have my letter.